Welcome to ZW Cricket Fans Show. It's a new show that we're trying so that we can have our voices as cricket lovers. So I've got Prince and Lloyd with me at the moment. And we're going to be discussing the upcoming tour here, Bangladesh, in light of the squad that has recently been selected. We're going to be picking it apart from our opinion as cricket lovers. So Prince, are you excited for the tour?
I'm sitting on the fence, to be honest. It's one of those whereby they're pretty good picks that are there, but there are those that are a bit questionable, And, the fact that we don't play that much Test cricket is also challenging because you don't know who's on top form, and we've seen in Bangladesh with the Zime tour, it hasn't been that great, and we've been hearing rumors of fitness concerns. So it's one whereby I think it's going to be a challenge given the resurgence that Bangladesh cricket is on in terms of all formats. So it's going to be a tough one for the boys, I think.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that the boys who were left out for the tour who are in Bangladesh, it's like they are performing like they are trying to prove a point. I think at the end of the day today, Nagfi and Campbell, I think Matthew had actually gone to a century, and then Nagfi was on 58 years of stumps. So yeah, and Jonah I think
Yes.
made 33. So it's kind of interesting that those guys maybe they have a point to prove because of the non-selection.
I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing because we've always had excuses that they only perform in the Logan Cup. It's not that competitive and whatnot. But now they're scoring runs from the A side, whereby some of the guys in the first team are failing to produce anything, and we've had so many passengers to say. Not any disrespect to the players, of course, but we've had a lot of poor performances from our batting unit. You remember how we picked apart last year against top oppositions like South Africa, New Zealand, and we really lacked grit. And it's nice to see the boys who haven't been selected coming up and saying, listen, if you guys don't perform, you want to get in. Obviously, that's entirely up to Zimbabwe cricket as a whole to pick those players, but they've put their hands up, and I would have hoped that maybe they would have picked 2-3 new faces in the batting unit. But I'm really not too enthused about what this series is gonna bring.
Yeah.
Because of the quality, and especially the batting side.
Yeah. So in terms of batting, from what I can see, we've retained Craig Irvin. He's not been pulling so many trees lately in Test cricket, but I guess he's an experienced head. But on top of that, we've got Brandon. His comeback has not been so good so far. Then we've got Taliwa. We've got Brian Bennett, of course, the starman there, as well as Ben Curran. So it's likely that the usual starting pair, Maru and Bennett, are going to be opening. From the wicket keeping batting side, we also seem to have Tsiga as well. So what's your take on the batting unit as a whole?
I don't think Marumani starts or plays in that Test match. We might see an opening pair of Bennett and right-left combination, him and Karen.
Okay.
They've been decent, and it's high time we get some consistency in that department. Because if Marumani is to open, then he can't keep, and Tsiga has shown glimpses of promise as well. Well, I'm shown glimpses of promise, so I think Tsiga might play ahead of Marumani, because we haven't seen much of him also in Test cricket to say that he deserves. He's a shoe-in for that. We know how he bats in T20 cricket, but this is a totally different ball game, and I think definitely I would put Sega ahead of him. But what I'm mostly worried about is that gap, which who's replacing Sean Williams? Because he's saved us from so many embarrassing batting
Heavyweight.
collapses whereby we'd end up scoring at least 250 and he is 140, 150. So I'm mostly worried about that and the batting capabilities of our all-rounders as well.
Yeah.
So I think Marumani doesn't start. I think probably Wesley will come in as a batting all-rounder in the team, maybe in the middle order
Okay.
there. And the selection of Craig Irvine, I think it's just there to just give a bit of cushion, just in case, because he can bat long. He has a good record as well against Bangladesh. So I think,
Okay.
of course, with age is not on his side. I think he probably will play that game. And then with Taylor, I think it's. I mean, he's been a great servant for Zim cricket, but sometimes it's good to just let the young ones take over. In my opinion.
Yeah.
because we've seen with the fitness concerns at the World Cup and everything that spot could have easily been taken by someone who's more fitter and can do the job. We can't be playing based on nostalgia at this point. So I don't think Taylor needs to play. He can come in maybe as a batting consultant, but from a playing perspective, very talented,
Yeah.
good track record. But I think it's time to call
Oh,
it
good
quits.
things come
What
to
are
an
your
end.
opinion on Graham Creamer? Do you think he plays?
Lloyd.
Okay. My personal concerns with Graham Creamer and Brendan Taylor is Brendan Taylor for one, he's been out of the game for more than 4 years. We all know 4 years out of international cricket. There's a level difference between club cricket, associate cricket, and first class cricket and international cricket. There's different levels to it. If you are to get off international
Okay. It's
cricket
breaking.
for that long and come back, you can't just walk in without hitting some runs in first class and proving yourself.
Yes. Network
A lot of
seems to be
cricket
breaking.
with
Can
regards
you
to
hear
Brendan
me,
Taylor,
Prince?
they made a decision that they'll have him coming in as a support and also somebody who's going to offer something with the bat. So at some point, it looked like they wanted him to keep in the shorter versions, but it looked like he couldn't even keep. Because the biggest problem in Zimbabwe is having a balanced side. I think in every cricketing side, you're trying to set a team where you can have balance. So if Taylor was going to come in, do the gloves and also offer something with the bat, I think they reckon that you could have given something. But with the longer version, like Test cricket, I don't think he's suited for it at all. Because Test cricket is like the ultimate cricket, and Bangladesh has got their tails up. Brendan Taylor hasn't played proper cricket in a long time. We in Zimbabwe for the past 6 or 7 months, we haven't played longer the red ball cricket. Besides Logan Cup, of course, but not any. Most of these players that have been selected haven't played the red ball cricket in a while, and they haven't been prepared to play for the to play the red ball cricket. They were all playing T20s and they were
Hi,
allowed to
Prince.
go play in Pakistan and in India. Or it's problematic. But going back to Brendan Taylor and Graham Creamer, I feel Creamer might. I don't know how spinners go because spinners can go longer, and it's an art that's different from betting. You can come back and make it international cricket. We saw with Raymond Price when he stopped playing international cricket. He was playing county and he came back after the Rebel saga. He did well after coming back, but we saw with Grant Flower and Andy Blicknott when they came back, the numbers were not there. The numbers were not numbering. It was a different thing altogether. They couldn't come into it. And we've seen as well with Brendan Taylor, things don't really work out as they were previously, where if you go out of the game for a long time. So, like you said, we're not playing any competitive cricket. And then in terms of the selections as well, I feel we missed the trick on the squad selection. We're looking at having people like Roy Kaia and, well, of course, him, Brendan Taylor. And I also don't see the point of having Human Amuri maybe having him as a backup for a lefty. He doesn't have the numbers to back his selection. I don't buy the school of thought that we need to get a person into a team so that they can get groomed. We all have our times in our lives. If there's a person who's doing the job now, they get selected by the now factor. Don't select somebody by the future factor, because we don't know what the future holds. There is channels for growth, like the Zim A that's being played. It's shocking that they didn't take him for Zim A. So to see if he has grown from the previous positions or standards that he was on when he played the previous tests a year and a half ago, and we saw his shortcomings. He's a kid. I feel like he needs a lot of first class cricket, a lot of Zim cricket. I want to applaud Give More as well and his cabinet. That they've organized a lot of games, Zim and Zimbabwe cricket game, and all these games going on. Zimbabwe had a problem of getting a lot of cricket, because you can only become a better cricketer if you play more cricket. The more cricket you play, the more you can adjust, more you can make yourself better. So I think on that one, Givemore is doing really, really well, and he needs to be applauded. If somebody has done good, because we're always making noise when they do these dubious selections that are Takashinga affiliated. Everybody screams and says, "Look at what they're doing." But when they do right, a few people say, "Hey, you've done right." He's doing right in terms of his administration and having the game being played, and also having no qualms with no issues. Sorry, we don't have any issues with player salaries like we've been having for years.
Yes.
There's been less of that. Of course, there's that issue of ladies cricket being played $50. I don't know if that's true or not, but we have not had the news where, like, the Dynamos issue where players, or Highlanders issue where players don't get paid. It has not been Zimbabwe cricket for a while now. So they've done well. Kudos to that.
I think you're right. From an administrative and a business perspective, I mean, we played 10, 11 test matches last year, and that's just testament to, obviously there are shortcomings, but that's something that's worth applauding. When was the last time we played top teams? Yes, we got battered, but we saw the results with the last test that we played against Afghanistan. We played well, we beat them. They are playing more. There's more professionalism, I feel. Even when they went to the World Cup, we didn't have problems of people saying they're not getting paid, and even the players. There's much more harmony now. What I'm worried about is, like you mentioned with the selection of the likes of Graham Creamer and Brendan Taylor. I'll give an example of Graham Creamer. He left in cricket entirely in 2018, went to the UAE. He comes back 7 years later and he plays a couple of games locally and jumps straight back to the national team. Doesn't that show how poor our talent pool is, or how shallow our talent pool is? Because you can't go from not playing cricket entirely to coming and just getting a shoe in and just getting into the national team, going to the World Cup. And it just speaks to the developmental structures, I feel, in the country. Or is it a lack of talent, or a lack of proper talent identification programs?
I disagree a bit. If you look at it, if you look at the Logan Cup the past 3-4 seasons or something like that, the highest wicket takers prior to this season that just ended, the highest wicket takers have been leg spinners or left-arm spinners. Zimbabwe's got a problem of not being able to play spin in general. We have very few off spinners. Even if you see Logan Cup legacy, some of the highest wicket takers, I know John Nyumbu is top 5. He's the only off spinner. He's top 5 highest wicket takers in Logan Cup. And if you look at that boy who was playing for Mashonaland from England, who played a couple of seasons ago, Alex Russell is getting the wickets, and he's not really a big turner of the ball, or he's not really a great spinner, but because we have deficiencies in playing spin. So, but that then gives a mirage in terms of Graham Creamer, because he comes in, he does this against the minnows or the local guys who can't play spin. But when he goes to play against the appropriate spin playing nations, his spin does not give us anything. That's my opinion. You are only as good as your previous game or your last game or your last few games. From what I've seen the last few games, him and Brendan Taylor haven't given us anything to say we can go ahead with them. Yeah, and that's testimony to that is because the locals can't play spin, and he can just walk in and do it. One of the highest wicket takers with the best strike rate is Rango, that leg spinner from Kadoma.
Yes.
He's got a great record. I think he's got the most wickets in Logan Cup in history. He's a leg spinner. So if you look at that chart, it tells you about our inability to play spin. So judging Graham Creamer based on how he's played in the local league will be dishonest. I think he should have been tested with the A side to see how he goes, or should have been tested more in the Logan Cups or the preparation. I think is in shambles as well for this Bangladesh. Both countries, Bangladesh can be inviting a team to come and play A side cricket in Bangladesh when they're in monsoon season. It's raining every day. It's been raining. This is
Planning like in a study.
it's shoddy. You can't call people up when they're in monsoon season. So it's poor planning there. And you also, as Zimbabwe cricket, you should have said, hey, you people come here because we have better cricketing weather. I think we're the best cricketing weather in the world. Zimbabwe has got the best cricketing weather in the world. You can play from January to December, and it pains me sometimes when we have Logan Cup games getting washed out. I'm like, somebody can sit down in Zimbabwe, even if you're on a build, you know what? From April to late October or early November, it's not gonna rain. You can leave things outside. You can leave cement outside. It's not gonna cast because it's not gonna rain. So even if you're planning for your cricket, your big league cricket, you can say, okay, I won't play in December and Christmas time because we know that's going to be first rains coming in, and January there's going to be rains. So why not start our Logan Cup in August and play a few rounds before we get to the rainy season? I don't know.
I think the challenge with that is that we have players who want to play the local league, want to play cricket 12 months a year. They play the local league. So around April there, it can't be. Also, it comes again as a thing of cricket being a job. For example, you have players like your Shamayawos who play in England. You have players who play in England. They have contracts so that as soon as the Zim season ends or just before it ends, they have to come this side to play. So you can't say, no, stay back and play Local Cup. So it becomes an issue of also infrastructure, because the rains in Zim are not as devastating as in other countries. Are we at a position whereby the infrastructure in our country can save a match? For example, if there's so much rain, do we have enough drainage systems to make sure that people can play after? And like you said, with regards to the spinners, we've had spinners dominating. I remember there was a season, there was a guy, I'm forgetting his name, tall spinner from Mashonaland Eagles, who took so many wickets, went to Bangladesh. People were crying for him to be selected, and he struggled, didn't get any turn, nothing, didn't get any wickets. So maybe there needs to be, how we used to do back in the day, that they hire a professional spin coach to identify talent from an early age. We have sort of academies whereby there's a focus on spin bowling. Because if we have quality spinners, that means at the end of the day, we can produce quality batsmen who can play spin. Because if you notice, most of the batsmen who can play proper spin are from a previous age, like your Sean Williams, your Craig Irvine. They're trained from a different school. So it speaks to the quality of our developmental systems. Because if you remember, even from a batting perspective, the likes of Wesley Madhevere, they used to dominate at youth cricket, even in South Africa, everywhere. And they used to dominate. But is it a case of too much too soon, or a lack of nurturing? I'm still not sure about that. Is it our structures, or we just push these boys too much too soon? Same with Newman. He could do it a couple of years in domestic cricket. That would be great for him. But is it too much too soon, or we're trying to copy what these other countries do? South Africa has done it with Rabada, Kwena Mapaka. You've had Pakistan having alleged 16-year-olds starting Test cricket as well.
Yeah, but the things you're talking about, they have solid structures that are different from ours, and there are more games played in cricket. Zimbabwe's got a problem where we don't play enough cricket. Anyway, we don't have enough people playing cricket. We don't have enough cricket games played. Despite this insurgence of more games, that, like I was saying, Gilmore is giving us more games, which is great. But going back to selection issues, like we were talking about Wesley, Wesley is a hard one. My first argument is not every child prodigy grows out to be as expected. Actually, most child prodigies don't make it in life. Even if you remember kids that were doing well in primary school or doing well in soccer at primary school, not all of them come out to become Peter Ndlovu, or not all of them come out to become Einsteins. Most of the times, the ones that were doing or in the middle of the class are the ones that usually tend to become great people because they work hard. So I think in this case, with Wes, he done well with the 3 under-19 World Cups he's gone to. Probably he had a better start compared to his contemporary that he was going to all the under-19. So it looked like he was ahead of everybody because he had an early start. But when you move a gear up into international cricket, he has given us flashes of brilliance here and there, but he's not taken off. He's equal, probably, if you look at that same period. If you give the person who got an almost equal opportunity was Brian Bennett. There was no noise about him. Just came in, did his work, and everybody now recognizes that he's a very good cricketer. All these other players we're having that are on the fence. They are what they are. They are on the fence. They're not great people. Look at what Innocent Kaia has done. No one is going to dispute and say Innocent Kaia is in the side for what. He's made his case by batting properly, hitting the runs. He's gone to Australia, came back, set it out, didn't complain. Maybe he was complaining behind the scenes, but he just did his work. He just kept on scoring runs. You had to notice that there's a guy scoring runs. You're talking about Sean Williams not being in the team. We don't have a replacement. There's your replacement. There's a guy who's saying, I can do it. Right. We have that position. We can now say if what's his name, Karen doesn't want to open, or if that Bennett doesn't want to open, we can have a guy doing that opening and have these guys drop to number 3 or 4 and have that solid backup. Even if he fails to score runs, the talent is there, the will is there, the form is there. If he might struggle this game, but you keep him. There's evidence for the reasons why you can keep him. The other guys that we're talking about, like the West and the Newman, the evidence is not there. It feels like it's forced. It's like somebody likes them. They've got to be in the team because somebody likes them.
For Wesley, I feel like since he was dropped, I think he's kind of put his head down. Even locally, I remember he scored back-to-back hundreds as well. He has put in solid numbers. In Bangladesh, he scored. I watched the 100 that he scored in the first. Obviously, it was a different format. I feel like he needed that. He needed that to be dropped, get his head back. He looks in good touch now. Hopefully. And I was happy that he was able to convert into 100 because that's been his biggest struggle. If you notice, he just hits 20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah,
Even at the start of his career, South Africa had almost the same problem with Aiden Mapram. It's very frustrating to watch that he did great starts but didn't convert them. But with Zim, I feel like they did the right thing by dropping him. Same thing they did with Marumani when they dropped him from all the formats. And then for a year or two, and then when he came back, he showed, a bit of improvement. And I think for Wesley, this might be his last chance, though, because it's.
But I disagree, though. I disagree a bit. Sorry, I disagree a bit because I don't think Wesley has been dropped. He's not been dropped. If you look at it, he's been dropped when we've not been playing games. He's been dropped for a game and he just comes back. And this has been going on forever. He gets dropped for one game or half a series. He has not been completely dropped and gone and hit the runs. Like what happens around the world, where a guy gets dropped, he goes and hits it. Like I was watching the West Indies League. There's Da Silva. He got completely dropped. He's hit runs, he's hit hundreds, and still hasn't been picked up. They're saying, do more. West just gets dropped, hits 100, he's back. He's dropped, he's 150, he's back. It's been happening over and over. And guess what? If you look at his Logan Cup average on its own, I think he's close to 50. His Logan Cup average in the local league is close to 50. But if you look at his first class average, it's around 35 or something. Why? Because he's played too much international cricket, that he's not been scoring runs in international cricket, and it has lowered his average. If you look at his 20 average, look at his ODI betting average, it's low because he's been playing too many, and he scores runs in the local league. His list A, Zimbabwean list A average is high. because he does come in, hits 100 and he just goes back in the national team. He's played more than 100 games for Zimbabwe and he averages 20. 100 games and
Yes,
20. It's hard to make a case and say he's gonna make it. It's easy for me to make a case and say he's failed because the numbers are there. He's played almost 100 or more than 100 games for Zimbabwe, and his overall average in cricket is 20. And somebody's supposed to sit down and say, let's work on this. Give him time. Work on it. I feel if he's really talented, when they work on that stuff that he's supposed to work on, there is still time. Give him time, a year or two. He'll come back and realize his talent. I don't know what's the rush. People are retiring at 40. He's only 25. Why are we rushing him? It's not like
yeah,
we're short.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right about that. That it also speaks to what I said earlier about standards. What are our standards in local league? How can we best improve our local league? Because we have players who have had a history of local bullies, batsmen who in the local league, and you can't bowl to them. You can't. They score runs in the local league. They score hundreds. Put them in the national team, national colors. Nothing. I mean, we've had a case. There's that guy from Mountaineers. What's his name? Tall, lanky guy. He used to play even for Zim as well. But once he puts in the Zim jersey, it's curtains. So I think it's the standard of our local league.
The only person I feel like was a proper local league bully was Hamilton Masakadza. If you look at his average, if you take away the national cricket, his average is almost 50. But his international cricket, his average, I think, is around 29. He played a lot of games, but he was averaging 29, 28
played
with the bat.
300 games. Yeah.
If he played when he was playing for Mountaineers, Manikaland or Mountaineers, he was virtually a Bradman. He was a bully. He would score 100. I think he was the first guy to score a T20 100, like a quick one. He would hit anyone out of the park. But once he comes to the national team, they can argue that he was good. Average of 28. It's equal, same average as Hit Streak, who's a bowler. And that's
he's
what
a specialist batsman.
Yeah, Masakada, one of the greatest black batsmen. That's what he's giving us. So if you look at that, I think there's that lack of sitting down with the players and making them see that your numbers are not numbering. You need to be consistent. Like there's a guy who always argues on Twitter talking about what are we looking at? Are we looking at the average or are we looking at your bell curve analysis where you have your what's the most occurring number that he's going to give? Did he score 100 a couple of times and his average is higher, but most of the times he's going to give you this lower number,
10. Yeah.
So it's that, and I think we also other gripe with this selection is like I was posting on Twitter the other day. The selection is all Harare except for Ben Karen, you can also make an argument that he's a Harare person. There's all the players that have been selected.
It's so difficult to do that with the way Tuskers has been performing. And for me, I've always had a challenge with that. I remember back in the day, we used to do net bowling whenever, teams come and all of that. You had so many talented players that used to come in and play. In Bulawayo, where I'm from, somehow they couldn't crack it to play for the national team. I'll give you an example of someone, a batsman. There's Nkosana, I think it's Nkosana Moyo from Tuskers. He's had seasons where he's been scoring hundreds. Nkosana Mpo from it. Yes, he's been scoring hundreds, 200s.
He averages the same as Roy.
Got. Exactly. The same, but it doesn't get half the opportunities that Roy gets. There was a time when he was even competing with Nagvi for the top scorer in the Logan Cup. No call-up, nothing. So there's that thing, I don't know, I don't want to call it tribalism or anything, but
argument that there's no players in Matebele and is killed by the selection. It dies when you select Roy. When you select Roy Kaia, the argument that you don't have players in Matebele, when there are players that have got better numbers than Roy Kaia in Matebele, in Kwekwe, and in Manikaland, in Mashingo, the most runs in Test cricket, in first class cricket in Zimbabwe, Logan Cup, the guy who scored the most runs has played only 6 test matches for Zimbabwe. He's still playing cricket today. His name is Richmond Mutumbami. Because he's not from Harare. He's not played so many games for Zimbabwe. Richmond Mtumbabi has got the most Logan Cup runs in history, the most Logan Cup runs, but he has played 6 test matches for Zimbabwe. And you have a Royka here who
I think
averages 29, gets to get picked for Zimbabwe. Richmond Mtumbabi averages 40 in Logan Cup. He averages 36 in first class because of his test. He played tests against Dale Steyn. When he was the test matches he played, he was facing Dale Steyn. So his average is lower in test because that's when he only got an opportunity. Now, he never got to get more opportunities because he's not from Harare. He was a keeper and he's not from Harare. The reason why he did not play as many games is because he's not from Harare.
I think with
He's got the
regards
most
to
runs. He's got the most runs in
regards
Logan
to
Cup.
Roy and
And he's not been selected. It's only 36. He's almost the same age as Roy Kaia. Roy
but
Kaia is
the
almost
thing with
35.
Roy, I've always had questions around his selection. If you remember, his questionable selections didn't start today. If you remember the 2015 World Cup squad, you remember he was in it. The one that went to the World Cup where Taylor hit everyone out of the park. Roy Kaia was part of that team. Roy Kaia has been captain for Zim A for the longest of time, but it begs the question, what's the point of Zim A? Because, you know, you can't have, 36, 37-year-olds playing for Zim A because Zim A is meant to be a stepping stone for the main national team. If there's young boys who just came from under 19s, some who played the under 19 2-3 years ago, put them in. Let's see what they can bring to the table. If you remember when we had Makayantini as a bowling coach for a while, and there was that program, that Rising Stars program, whereby people, all youngsters under the age of 25 were brought in. There was a team selected. They went to England. They played winter cricket. They played in the English summer
I
for
think that was
the
the
whole
Taibu
6
initiation.
months. Yes, exactly. Yes, and then when they came back as Sunrisers, captained by Ryan Burl, they won the Logan Cup. But most of those guys never made it to the senior team. Why? Because there are certain people whereby you score 100 in 5 years, you're guaranteed a place in the team. Look at Roy Kaia. Innocent, rather. He had 3, 4, 5 bad performances and he was axed entirely. But we've had people who we know are walking wickets whenever Zim plays, but they don't get dropped. They don't get dropped. So it's a question of meritocracy and what is the standard? We need transparency. What do you need to do in order to make it to the national team as a batsman and as a bowler? How many wickets do you need? How many games do you need to have played? What's the average? Like you mentioned that we can't have players playing 100 games averaging 20. We can't compete against the
We're
big
supposed
boys.
to be looking. We're supposed to be looking at their median. Like the word I was looking for is median. So people look at the average, right? Like look at Nagvi. I remember there's a time around 2014, 2015. There's a guy who came to Zimbabwe and he was like a Bradman. His name was I think it was a Wadlan. Wadlan. I think he was a Wadlan guy from England. He was a bully. He was unplayable first season, but people figured him out. In the end, his average came down because he scored a few hundreds when he just got here, but he couldn't sustain it because people figured him out. Now, that's what averages then do. They can just give you a couple of hundreds that you've hit, and then the next 20 games you score 10s and 15s. It won't show like you're a 10, 15 kind of player. The hundreds are flukes. But if you're using your bell curve analysis, when you're using your medians and stuff like that, you know what is most likely to score. What number is he most likely to score? What average does he have? Because average, you can score 1,000 runs in one match and score zeros in the next 10. You still average 100. But if I score a 50 and a 70 and a 60 and a 40, a 1, a 40 again, you know that there is a high chance I'm going to score a 40. I'll give you runs. So if you use your median than to use an average, you get a better analysis of what kind of player you have and what you're going to get. So this is why I'm worried about Wesley scoring hundreds. His hundreds are sporadic, but when they come, they sort of push his average. But what number of runs does he give you most of the times? What's his median? It's low. So with that in mind, I feel personally, my biggest gripe with Zimbabwe cricket, my biggest gripe with all these guys, whether it's Alistair Campbell from what I've heard, and whether it's him, Give More, they think Harare is Zimbabwe and Zimbabwe is Harare. We need Zimbabwe. Harare cannot beat India. Harare cannot beat Afghanistan. Harare cannot beat Bangladesh. Bangladesh has got 500 million people. Harare has got 4 million people. If we include Bulawayo, Mutare, Kwekwe,
So just
Gweru,
related to that, Lloyd, would
yes.
you have picked, for example, Emasuku instead of Enyamot?
No, that's a little bit too easy to say. But the problem is not there. Like you was saying earlier on that there's no cricket in Bulawayo, which is true. It's gone down a bit. Talent pool has gone down. The boys are not working hard, right? But this is what we measure the leadership, because Zimbabwe cricket took over all the cricket in the country. It's no longer associations running it. Well, they can say that, but clearly it's managed from Harare. These guys need to make sure that they have talent coming out of every part of the country. It's on them because they own the thing now. The guys in Harare are the ones running. We no longer have MCAs, these associations giving players to the union. They are the ones running things now. So if we are failing to get players from everywhere, like we're having when the MCAs were giving us players to come in, we blame you. Yes, Harare is going to be having a bigger chance, a chunk of players. Sorry.
It's the centralization of cricket, I think.
Yes.
Everything's been centralized. And, you know, it's quite sad that even some players who are from, you know, I'm not saying that people should play based on, you know, ethnocentrism because you're from Bulawayo or you're from Harare, you have to play for a Harare team. But like this past Logan Cup, I saw a couple of people on Facebook. They're really complaining about Nkosana Mpofu's omission. He was not even playing for Tuskers.
But then you're having a Makoni from Harare coming to open for Tuskers when Kosana is an opener for Tuskers with similar numbers as
and
well.
He's been performing. So it's a really, and what it does is it shuts the door for Mpofu. He can't get into there's no chance. If you're not playing Logan Cup, trust me, you're not going to be considered for Zim A or anything. So it's like it's always the same people, like different. This time they remove this other person, none of this this time, you know. But we're just recycling, you know, the same crop of players. You know, it's been a while since we've had a breath of fresh air. You see, I saw Matthew Campbell. I played extremely well. But the thing is, do we just bring him in like that? Do we just because he's performed, do we just bring him in, or do we need to give our players time? That's why it goes back to standards. That's the standard that we need to. We need to have a set standard whereby we say, you know, Australia, they have a certain standard, although it's starting to go down. I'll give an example of India. Okay, India has a certain standard. If you need to average a certain, you need to score a certain amount of runs in order to get into the first team, depending on how much of a talent you are. But you need to play domestic cricket, and we need to strengthen our domestic cricket. How do we do that? We need to also start, you know, I liked the initiative of bringing Durham to Zim. It exposes a lot of our players.
Yeah.
It does, because Durham doesn't really play extremely well here. It struggles a bit sometimes.
That reminds me.
We really need set structures.
Prince, that reminds me. Sorry. I'm just jumping in. Sorry, you're bringing up interesting perspective. You're bringing up interesting perspective. The Durham thing, it reminds me of the time when we had there's a guy called Matigimu. So this is where people don't see this. If Matigimu comes in, gets 3 wickets against Durham, straight on. He's playing for Test cricket for Zimbabwe. He had played 2 first-class games in his life. Straight on, he's playing against South Africa. 2 or 3 first-class games. He had I think he had 6 or 7 wickets. His whole first-class career. Because he's a Takashinga boy. Yes, and unfortunately, that's what then happens. All their boys, if you look at them, if you look at the paradox, Takashinga is, if you take away Richie and Mabunu, if you take those 2 boys out, and probably the last one of the best men was Regis Chakaba. If you take those 3 people out, the crop after Taibu and them, none of their boys have performed. If we take away these 2 bowlers, Richie and Muzarabani, and then except for Regis Chakaba in Test, he was a very good Test cricket player. The rest of their boys that have been picked, they've picked more than a dozen. They've been picked in between, or 20 of them have been picked. None of them have been up to scratch. None of them, they can put numbers there
struggled.
and argue.
They've
struggled, but they've all been pushed. You have the Shaikh Muzarabani, like it's like a club bowler, was playing international cricket for Zimbabwe because they're just being pushed in with no numbers at all. And that's what they do. They get Matigimu playing high school cricket, whatever it was, college cricket in South Africa, plays 2 games. Yes, he was moving the ball. Every bowler has a day or two, and he was even injured. They played the guy with the injured leg. He couldn't even finish the game. I tweeted in the morning that if this guy finishes the game, he didn't finish the game because you could see the bandage on his leg.
That's another thing, because I've been hearing murmurs about what's his name, the captain, that is not 100%, and he has struggled a little bit in terms of Test cricket. He's more of a shorter format kind of bowler.
Yes.
He's but he's captain of the Test side. He hasn't played much Test cricket as well.
That's weird.
That was a weird selection.
It's quite baffling because whenever he plays, those rapid fast bowlers, it's difficult for him to adjust to Test cricket. And if we hadn't selected him, who should we have picked? That's another thing, because we don't have people. We have everyone performing in patches except for the ones, your Razas, but you can't build around Raza anymore. He's 40. You can't build around. Well, Sean Williams is no longer playing, but you can't build around him. We need someone. I like Bennett. Would giving him the captaincy put too much weight on him?
It can burden him.
And maybe the argument you bring in that maybe there was no person that was going to be able to take it.
There was not.
Going back to Richard Ngarava, I believe he's the best white ball bowler we've had since Taundam Pariwa. I believe he's the best white.
Yes.
In a long time, he's the best white ball. I also believe the contracts that what's his other guy's name? Muzarabani gets. Yeah, I feel like
I think because
Richard is shortchanged. He should be getting those because I believe he's a better bowler.
I think so too. I don't think he's appreciated enough. I don't think he's appreciated enough.
With the white ball, he's
especially
a very, very
in white
good bowler.
Cricket.
But Test cricket, I feel this is the thing. People need to be honest with each other. Test cricket, I think, is a step further to make him a captain when he's got fitness issues. Clearly, he's got fitness issues. It's clear. I don't think he's going to play enough games.
Does he have a captain?
No, he's not played so many first class games. He doesn't play because
he's not played so many because they rest him. Because also he's a big guy. Big guys, you need to manage them.
They need to take
properly.
time.
But for me, I feel like that's another thing. If you drop him, say he doesn't play, we say we want him to be a white ball specialist. Who can get wickets? Who can bowl?
Chavanga.
We don't have
that's
much.
why I'm worried about the talent pool.
Chavanga
is decent.
Chavanga, I feel like he's the best red ball bowler in terms of our seamers. Because he'll get something to go with. Just because he tries to go run and bowl fast. Something is going to happen. I don't know how, but he just comes in and something happens. Something happens. He just comes in, runs in. Yes, he just gives you the heart. He's got the heart, the bowler with the heart. It reminds me back in the day we used to have bowlers with the heart. Just coming in, hitting the deck, and that's all he's going to do. He just let the ball goes and the ball that do the talking. You'll get a wicket. He's gonna get you wicket.
Even when he takes wickets, you can see that this person is hungry. He wants to win, even if it's 200 for one and it's the first wicket. He's pumped up. So for me, I think for this one, do we go with 4 seamers or 3? Because obviously Brad Evans has improved with the batting and he took a 5 last Test match. He probably gets in as well. And we have obviously Blessing's going to play. Chivanga is definitely going to play. The captain as well. So that's 4 seamers. And then who's going to bat at number 7 as the wicket keeper?
Yeah, obviously. That's it. The team has set it, so that's we're getting.
Yeah, we have 4 seamers. Probably for me, I would pick Tsiga. I think there's something there. I've watched him.
Tall keepers. Test cricket toe keepers. I'm in love with toe keepers. It's a new thing. They cover more ground. As long as it's agile. This thing that we need to have a short keeper. But I believe toe keepers, like in football, the taller keeper, the better they cover more ground. They're big.
And also we have toe bowlers as well. We need someone who's gonna, that bouncer, that stinging bouncer. We need someone to save those extras. And even from a batting perspective, I like how he brings something different with the bat. From his stance, even the way he carries himself when he's batting.
Yeah.
So I would put him there because I think there is something there. And we've seen glimpses of that, but I feel like we don't play enough test cricket for us to actually get to
to actually know.
So who's the sixth batsman? Who's the sixth batsman?
That's where it starts to get a bit tricky.
It's dicey.
The openers.
The openers we have, for me, it's Karen and Bennett.
Agreed.
Kaia at 3.
Kaia at 3, Slug at 4. I would put Wesley at 5 because he will bowl.
Yeah, the all spin option.
I would put Wesley 5. But at number 6, we need someone who's going to be able to bowl as well because I think we're going to have long days if we bowl first.
So then who's in the squad that's capable of doing that? Because you're left putting in Roy Kaia, who doesn't bowl international cricket because he's been called for chucking. That's baffling how he's getting.
Unless if we are going to force Upinza Krima instead of an extra seamer, then you...
No.
You put in
Harare Sports Club.
Also, it's Bangladesh Harare Sports Club. Let's just put a sim bowling friendly pitch and dismantle them. But we're 4 seamers and one.
The problem we've had is we have not nurtured a seaming all-rounder. I was thinking Frosty was going to come up, or I was thinking at some point when they were trying to quote what's his name? The guy that plays in England, who was Zimbabwean born but plays in England. They tried to romp him in
There's this Higgins, Ryan Higgins.
Yes, if we had that person, this number 6 position would be solved. And I was hoping one of the what's his name? This boy Myers. If he gets his thing right, we would be able to solve that problem where we have a guy who can come up and both seam up and still bat. So if that boy comes good, we'll be all right.
Because another thing with Ngarava is that obviously with his fitness concerns,
yes,
you will need more bowlers.
Yes, you're gonna be one man shot.
He's not gonna bowl much.
He can't bowl 4 days.
Yes.
So I don't know, man. I'm looking at this team. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be tough.
Maybe they were banking on Wesley and Brian at the off-spin option.
Brian, not in Test cricket.
Not in Test cricket though.
Those
are Test pieces.
You bring him in to come and just
All right, guys. I've got to let you guys be and go. I think my 8 o'clock. That's when I was like cut off time. Thanks for the conversation, guys. You can keep on going. I'll watch later as well. Thank you very much for the invite as well.
Thank you so much, Lloyd. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, we're just gonna resolve the number 6 and then move.
Yeah. It is something that really needs to be solved. I mean, looking at the team, there's no one, to be honest. I mean, I'm looking at the team because right now we have 5 bowlers, including West.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we sacrifice a batsman and have a tail that starts at number 7?
Probably that's where they were coming in with Yamori.
Or Krima. I think they'll probably play. Also, bear in mind the quota system as well. So, there are a lot of variables with this. So bear in mind that there's a quota system as well. For me, I would have liked to see, what's his name? Obviously he's not at the greatest World Cup and Tinotenda Maposa. But if you watch him batting, there is something there. You can build from a batting. You can have a batting all rounder, especially even in the shorter formats, because he's a big guy, a strong guy.
Yeah, you can.
You can hit a long ball. Obviously, there's still room for improvement, but he's shown glimpses of. But he can't bet at 7. Probably come in at 8, but he's not in the squad. And from the what's his name, Brad Evans he bats well sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
But Blessing as well has improved with his batting in the longer format.
Yeah. He's really surprised me a couple of times.
But we really need a number 6 though, because that's where Raza used to be.
That's where Raza used to be, probably. And I think we've been leaving Brendan out, but the fact that they've selected him, I don't think they are not going to play him. So
I heard Kaia can bowl, but I'm innocent. Kaia can bowl, but I'm not sure. Because obviously now already before we put a number 6, Bennett can he can roll the arm here and there.
Yeah, Bennett can take
Wesley
10
can
overs.
bowl. Wesley can bowl.
He's 20 or so overs.
Can take 20 or so. You know what I see them doing? I see them playing Roy Kaia in this
as the spinner.
Because who else?
The age is managed.
Is Dion Myers is not in the team.
Yeah, Dion is not with the team.
Not in the team.
He could have bowled him.
Yeah, we have a problem here. Unless if we're saying that we trust these four paces and we rotate them, and then we have Wesley and
the problem would be the Yatan story. I don't believe that. Don't believe that Richie can bowl 2 full days and give us so many overs unless they've worked some magic with him in the past few months.
Also, there's been an argument that he can bet his potential to be an all-rounder.
Richie at international level.
Not in, it's.
It is the age.
I mean, I do miss. That's why you miss a Sean Williams here. Put Sean Williams here, you're fine.
You could have solved many problems.
You'll score 100, you'll score 50. If he doesn't score much, he'll score 49. That's why I've put also Craig Irvine, because he hasn't been scoring big runs, but he scores 30s.
He
40s.
always scores his 30s and his 40s. Yeah. But we do need someone amongst the 6 batters who we can say this one is going to score a century.
Because here there's no Raza, there's no Williams.
Yeah.
Say we have a collapse, who's going to save the innings?
Yeah, it's really tricky.
Also, what does the future hold for? I know this is left field. What does the future hold for Nicholas Wells?
What's the reason that he's been banished?
Disciplinary issues. I heard that he slammed an opposition dressing room door, so he was suspended for a couple of games. That include the international games. But my thing is, if Welch scores 0 and then he scores 50, he scores 0 and then he scores 50, and what if? Because I do believe that Innocent Kaia will come good in this test.
How old is Innocent?
I think 28, 29. He's not very old. So it's got to be a tough one. If Welch
to be fair,
is suspended and Kaia performs. A number 6 Akuna, that's we need a bowling or batting all rounder. We don't have that. You see, England is Stokes.
Yeah. Unless we are, if we are saying Brad is gonna be coached into being that, because we used to have Streaky, Dara.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we put Taylor and then we strengthen the batting. We put Taylor in at 5, and then we have Slug come in at 6 because he has played at 5 and 6. Slug.
Then we'll be hoping could be one of Bennett and
Slug just hangs in there. If there's a collapse, he comes in early.
Okay. Then he tries to hold the inning.
Try and hold the inning. Or he comes in at 6.
Is that his style though?
But I don't think it would fit him, because after Tsika goes, it's Evans, Blessing, Richie, Chiwani. And also, we haven't discussed Bangladesh much. They have a good seam team as well. So
yeah.
But I fancy our chances against Sim in bowling.
The mystery spinners, though, that's where
because they have Mehiti Hassan.
Yeah.
It's going to cause problems. And, with our dodgy techniques, it's going to be a very short.
I think the groundsmen just have to make sure it's
They
seem
have to do a
friendly.
job. They have to do a job. I mean, India does it. Australia does it. They need to. They need to show their value. That's another problem that we have. Atina a cricketing identity.
Exactly. If you go at Harare Sports Club, PT Changerichi, we don't know that.
Australia, Guti Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins, or Boland, they will ruin your day. Also, you have Lightning as well, but those three they've single-handedly carried Australia. You go to India, they'll put a dodgy pitch. You can't bet on day 4, day 5. You'll lose. You come to England, you can't bet in England. You'll be swinging.
No, the ball will be swinging right place.
But you go to South Africa as well. You go to Cape Town. You go to Newlands or wherever.
Yeah.
It's going to be rapid. But you come to Zim.
Given that our first class matches, many of them are played at Harare Sports Club, and maybe from the domestic circuit, we have to be also setting my pitches the way that we would want to play internationally.
It's very good. I think that's a very good point. And I think that would work in our benefit, to be honest, because also it will create an identity. This is how Zimbabwe plays. I mean, we now have one whereby they know that Zimbabwe's tall fast bowlers can dismiss anyone on any given day. And then Raza comes in. If they get hit, Raza comes in, stabilize. They come back, they take wicket. But from a betting perspective, we don't have an identity. We don't know how we bet.
Yeah, we don't know. No, we don't.
Every time we go, we're just, we're taking our ashwagandha, we're just hoping for the best.
Yeah, we're always hoping that the Bennett will do something.
If Bennett gets out early, Karen, maybe Karen. And then for me with Zim cricket, I also have, a problem with the Zimbabwean supporters. I feel like there are a lot of problems that we have racially as a country that have affected, our cricket. I'll give an example. This is not political or anything, but you see when a person, maybe a black person, doesn't perform, you see the backlash that they get.
Yeah,
it's just too much. You forget that those people are human beings as well. It's an honor to play for your country. Yeah. No one goes to play for their country and then they're like,
and then I
want to go and mess up, And then if it's a team, you remember the New Zealand Test series whereby there was no quota system. It was said this is the best Zim team. Yeah, they lost in 2 days. Yeah, how was the backlash? There was no backlash. Why?
There was no backlash.
I won't even say it. Because I want to be politically correct sometimes. But, so there are certain things that, are affecting us as a country, as a cricketing nation, that needs to be addressed, even the whole
maybe
issue
it's a catapult reaction to people would have been disappointed with certain picks, like the other picks that we were talking about, that this person is always going to be there, even if they're not going to perform. So maybe it's frustration.
Because there was another issue as well with the Bulawayo mayor that really didn't sit well with me. The fact that, we just come off our best World Cup performance, well, in my lifetime at least. It's a time for, for us to, to revel in that, build on that. I feel like we should have had games immediately after that World Cup because we had our tails up a bit. And then you have, certain people, for obviously reasons that we do not know, bashing Zim cricket. Obviously, it's not perfect. Every country has their own, every association has their own challenges. But we are not world beaters, guys. We are not. Yeah. We've never, even in the times of Flower, when we beat India in the World Cup in the 90s, it was a fluke win, if we're being honest. So we need to really be honest with ourselves. And, the boys played well in that T20 World Cup. They played extremely well. They tried their best. I mean, no one saw us beating Sri Lanka, Australia. We thought that if we win 2 and then they beat each other and then to Sanganisa, we're through to the, we had our calculator, we beat Australia, and then you see some people saying, hey, he should not be selected. But he was there when we beat Australia. Obviously, a few individuals that We're just there for vibes.
He plays all day.
Being selected for fielding. So
Yeah.
we've so much to build, but overall, I feel like it's going to be as Zim Bangladesh test is always going to be 50-50. I
Yeah,
think
you never know. The one who's informed, the one Seto Picheki in a way which will fit him, the one who's gonna win. Yeah.
Have they played much test cricket as well?
Not really, not really. Especially, I think in the past year, people were preparing for the T20 World Cup, and now I think recently people have been preparing for the ODI. So yeah,
So
not much.
we might get something there. We might. I feel like we might get something
I
from
think
that.
we are capable. We are capable. It's just a mental thing as well.
That's
Because
a very good point.
yeah, it's a mental thing. If we get a bad 30 minutes, we shouldn't get our heads down, because
Yeah.
the next 30
And
minutes you can get something.
even if we get a good 30 minutes, let's
Yes,
learn to kill the game off.
exactly. Exactly.
Let's
That
kill the
has been
game
a
off.
problem.
We can't kill games off. Often our wins end up becoming closer than they should be.
Than they should.
Even in the World Cup, that game against Sri Lanka should have been done and
We should
dusted.
have killed it off. Because
Kill them off.
Musa and Richie on their day, they're capable of giving us a 4-4 within the first half.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, we seem to lose
Let's
our.
kill the game off. Let's not relax. And I haven't watched much domestic cricket. I don't know how Richie's leadership skills are. So that's going to be interesting as well
That's
to
going to
see
be interesting as well.
the leadership dynamics. Obviously, there's Craig there, Irvine, great batsman, but he, is made questionable, captaincy decisions that have cost us even World Cup qualifications in some instances. But I think he's got so much value and experience that he can add.
Yeah, of course.
Even because I think he has to even play in the ODI World Cup. I think, but I'm not.
It's an
I'm not
oxymoron, but
convinced.
we have so many 40-year-olds, but to think about it, but if those 40-year-olds go, who do we have?
I mean, even the Sean Williams thing, I don't think it was handled, in the best way by both sides. Obviously we've had players with addiction issues and stuff. It's quite something that's sensitive. And for someone who's obviously we don't know, obviously had, callback offers and all of that in the past, but chose to
But
play for
he
Zim.
remained loyal.
He's ranked number 18. He was playing for Zim when no one wanted to play for Zim.
Yeah.
And obviously disciplinary issues aside, but I think when someone admits that, I'm going through something, I'm gonna, check myself. Obviously, we don't know the ins and outs of the situation.
Conversation. Yeah.
I think it's, that could have been something that could have been used even by ZC to say, listen, you're going through stuff, take your time, take some time off, come back, because we need you.
The door will be open.
Because a player of that caliber, you see that poorly written press statement that was it. It's embarrassing because even when South Africa was playing, the South African players were saying we want to play spin like Sean Williams.
Yeah.
That's South Africa.
No,
Obviously,
he's a generational talent.
Exactly. Because I would argue that he's probably top 3, top 4.
Yeah,
Best.
all time for
He is
Zim.
the best ODI average, anyways. Even the hundreds he was scoring. He was scoring against top sides. It's just unfortunate, really. I hope, even the guys in charge, they've played with him. They could have had a conversation with him. I mean, like, listen, that could have been handled better, but I mean, it is what it is. We need to move on. Now we're struggling to even find a number 6 because he's not there.
Yeah, because he's not there. Yeah, he would have been perfect for that. Yeah. So
Now, what do you think? You think the game's going to end in how many days?
Because it's Bangladesh, it depends. I don't think we have. It depends on the attack that they come with. If they are going to be using seamers and we have a seam-friendly pitch, and go to 4 days, and 20% chance it can go to 5 days. But if they are going to be having a spin-friendly pitch and they have good spinners, 3 days max, 2 days.
Faster.
Yeah.
Because you remember we struggled against Schwab Bache in Trentbridge last year.
And Bache.
And that was a road. That was a road picture. It was a road. There was nothing there. So, I mean, so what's Raza's test status? Does he still want to play
test status? I haven't heard. Obviously, he needs to feed his family. So whilst he's still getting picked with my franchise, I guess.
Yeah.
With the way he served us, it's
I think he gets ahead. It's unfortunate Kuti Jonathan Campbell's dad said what he said last year before that test against England.
Yeah.
Kuti Raza's in. He just came from wherever he was and then he's coming for my son. You know, why Phil deserves a place, you know. That I feel like that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and rightfully so. And as a pundit, you know, you should not have a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
No matter how excited you are, he's a legend and everything, but you know, don't get too excited whereby you start, you know, questioning one of the best, probably the best player that we've had in the last 10, 15 years consistently.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's just unfortunate, but I hope they give a chance to Matthew eventually if he keeps performing.
Yeah.
You know.
And on Nagvi, I don't know if you had spoken about Bennett dropped.
No.
You know status. You know status pass.
I mean, he played for
the last interview I had on a podcast, he was saying, I think it's a matter of time because there are a certain number of years that you need to.
Oh, yes. But wasn't he at the 12th or 13th man in one test? Because my worry with Nagvi is by the time he has to play for Zimbabwe,
he would be washed up. And I do feel he's lost some of the form that he had maybe 2 to 3 years back. He was unplayable.
It also you figure him out and he gets annoying. And you know that county contract might just come.
Yeah.
And
you can't stop. No.
Because I mean Tawanda Muye wants to play for England as well. That's another interesting one.
Yeah. But would they give him a chance?
No.
But he can be a legend for Zimbabwe. Certainly, if he comes, he plays for 1 year, he's always a legend. He's already a legend.
Do you have, you know, the likes of your Marshall Goris and the MCO cricket? You know, you can go and talk with these. Probably need those people, you know, go and you know, sweet talk these guys, you know, come and play for Zim. Because Zim cricket is just very strange. You remember we had Gary Balance for a few months and he played well. Then he was like, I'm Safun, I no longer want to play. What happened there? Because, you know, if he had played for Zim, we could have used him to come back to England as an agent of some sort.
Yeah.
Can you talk to some of these guys to come back? And if you can talk to them, we can do something. You know, we can come up with, we can have a great team. I'm not saying that every player who plays abroad deserves a chance. Obviously, you need to come, you know, and play locally as well. Yeah. And to avoid what we're now having with the football guys, whereby it was now like there's 2 camps around the But I feel like, you know, Muye, also the circumstances of coming to the UK are a bit, you know, a bit political. I'm not sure.
But yeah, I heard so. But now, of course, it's the same party which is in power, but it's now different. A lot of people have come back home and they've managed to do things. So,
because if we can have it, we've solved a lot of problems.
Solved so many problems. Yeah.
Because my worry is that if obviously Park, but if a contract for Bennett comes, you can play 6 months in England, 6 months in Australia, no international cricket.
Yeah.
He might take it because you need something. You need something to keep it. Because I heard after the World Cup, I heard England were saying, you know, come and play domestically for a couple of years. You'll be eligible to play for us. So
for England.
So there were just rumors, people saying, coming up with ideas, saying that, if he comes and plays in England for a few years, and then after a few years, he'll be able to play for England in 3, 4, 5 years, whatever the time frame is. That's what they did to Taylor, but Taylor, anozotambura zvakazoramba was no longer before azodzoka.
Yeah, it's tricky to come from another system then also tanga upinzwa system and they recognize
Al Jarvis, same thing as well. Jarvis left
yeah.
Kent County, came back to England, collapsed.
Yeah. Yeah, I fear that from here because Anna Gay, they have come in, they started playing, but
Plus, he's not in the conversation.
exactly.
He's not in the conversation
Yeah.
at all. Even because Anna Jordan live up down to Zokam team. Also England got battered today.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah, the bus to tell. Did I see Stock bowling?
I didn't watch it, but I saw the last I checked, it was 315 for no loss.
Yeah. What is it? Lack of bowling quality? Because that's
I
not
think
been
England,
working.
England is overrated, in my opinion, in Test cricket.
Mhm.
Who can you say in that England team can win you a Test match, a bowler? Because Archer doesn't even have 100 Test wickets. I mean, it's been how many years? Archer has been a promising Test bowler for almost 10
Yeah,
years now.
it's always been promising. But
You know?
maybe fitness issues too.
Yeah, but maybe they invested a lot in him, like they did with Jacob Bethel. They took him from the Caribbean. But we need to start having honest conversations about it at some point in Test cricket. Obviously, no one doubts his quality. Jofra Archer is
Yeah, of course.
exceptional, but Test cricket is just not working out. Even in Australia, he struggled in the Ashes. Head was having a field day. Smith as well.
Test cricket exposes you. Yeah. And
I prefer
mental with rest.
I prefer Test cricket, to be honest.
Yeah, it's proper cricket.
It's proper. I don't like IPL. I don't even watch it, to be honest.
I don't.
Don't bother. But anyways, what are your predictions
For this
for the Zim
England, for the
For the
Zim,
Zim.
with the heart, I would say I can't predict a win. I'll say a draw.
I'm going to say a win. I think Zim's going to win this one. And, we're going to have someone have a breakout moment. I think either, Innocent Kaia or Tafazo Tsika. Something's got to give there.
Nothing gonna give.
One of those two will really play. We will really have a good game. And they need to,
Yeah,
because
we
the other
need
guys in the A side, Agromarant.
that.
I think Zim win. Maybe close. Maybe if they bowl first, they'll probably win by 2 wickets or one.
Again, that was my other thing. Depends on who bets first.
And then if they bet first, Baji, I think Muzarabani can do the business.
Again,
And Ngarava can, what's his name? Chivanga. I feel like he's underrated in Test cricket. He'll do the business.
Yeah,
If he
Chipanga
plays.
can move the ball. Yeah.
If he plays.
I haven't seen much of Brad in Test cricket. Because we need someone who can move the ball.
I mean, he took 5 in the last one against Afghanistan, but it was Afghanistan hadn't played Test cricket in maybe
for a
10
long
months.
time. Yeah.
So they were not as sharp as they could be. But credit to them, we beat them convincingly in the 2-3 days.
Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah, we did fail.
So he did well his last game. So we just give him the benefit of the doubt. And he's been someone who was a match winner. He's been a match winner for us in other formats. So hopefully he can come good in tests. Do we have other tests coming after this one?
I didn't check the schedule for the upcoming test. I'm not sure if we have many more because maybe we're gonna be looking towards
The
ODI.
ODI.
Maybe it will be just be one or few and then more of ODI.
No, I see.
I think that's what we're going to be doing.
For me, I think Zim's gonna come good this time. Obviously, we have our problems, but we really need to come good.
Yeah, we really need to come good.
Because if we win, it will be our first time winning back-to-back tests. I don't know in how long.
Yeah,
So
that would be a good piece of news. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for joining me. I think we'll be speaking along the way as the test is being played, and hopefully we'll have the other guy.
thank you so much for the platform, man. It's really amazing the job that you're doing.
Thank you.
It's been an honor to be here.
Great. Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.